Hello everyone. Uh, we've all heard of the word transformation. Everybody's talking about transformations and transitions, and here we have Abhishek, who's been through it all, and he's transforming even more by doing an MBAEx here in IIM Calcutta, belonging to the class of 23, batch 16. And what is interesting about Abhishek is he's actually been through the shifts that are happening in the IT spaces, from the traditional data center architecture to cloud services, through COVID adaptations. And here's an interesting thing to say here. He says he's seen IT services as project delivery and moved to product delivery, which is something I'm really interested in asking, but I'll do so gradually. Why don't you start with your journey of transformation first?
Thank you, ma'am, for the warm introduction. My work has mostly involved in cloud modernization platform enablement across large enterprises, mainly in the messaging and collaboration space. I have a decade of experience in enabling cloud architectures, in seeing them through the transition which they demanded across industries such as BFSI, travel, and media and communication, across geographies, India, United Kingdom, and many more. So, what I have seen across all these stages where IT architecture was first in a closed room in a data center, and then it moved to slowly to being a serverless architecture where cloud was slowly coming in, and now which we see it has moved into an Omni cloud architecture. So, the demand of the time is where the cloud service providers like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are there. The enterprises are asking where the architecture can have the best of all the flavors of them. The Omni cloud architecture enables them to have the best from the Amazon cloud service, the Microsoft cloud service, and the Google cloud service. An interesting thing that the cloud technology is there since 1960s. It is in 1970s when virtualization of hardware and software took up pace, and then the buzzwords have started to slowly creep in all the jargons which we hear about. And that is how from data center architecture to serverless architecture, we have now come to Omni cloud architecture thing which is now there in the part of us.
You said this existed in 1960s. Right? This has come a long way. What exactly is an Omni?
So, this Omni cloud architecture, what happens is the COVID-19 world has accelerated various mergers and demergers. So, enterprises first took up only one cloud service due to the pricing which it involved in, due to the capabilities which it had to develop, and other complexities which it had. But since there are multiple mergers and demergers, so the company with which the parent company needs to work in, the IT architecture collaboration has to happen very fast, has to happen at a blink of a speed. So, they can't wait for the entire transformation journey to happen. So, now enterprises are asking that can they have a database from the Amazon service? Can they have a network from the Microsoft service? Can they have analytics of the Google service? And with this, an interesting thing is that cloud has now become a very low cost platform, and the medium and small scale industries are also getting benefited from it, so that they do not have to spend much to scale up their IT infrastructure, to set up an infrastructure at no time. And that is where they are giving a run for money for the large scale enterprise teams, where they earlier what used to happen, which we were talking about as project delivery, where enterprise used to come up and they used to give a timeline and a project that this needs to be built up. Now it's all plug and play, where they reach out to a cloud vendor provider, and there are service providers in between who enable this transition. I being a part of a lot of the service providers myself. So, being part of the service providers, I have seen, and as I have grown my journey into a solution architect of these large scale enterprises, I have observed that these plug and play services have taken a forefront. And now long gone are those days where there would be a huge timeline given, and at the end of the timeline we provide something and it gets a check or not a check. And the enterprises are quite happy where things come in, get attached to their systems and get even taken back when the pricing of it is not suitable, or when another new player in the market comes up with something better to offer to them.
Abhishek, you talked about SMEs and clouds. I thought this is going to be costly.
Indeed, that's a very interesting thing. Steve Jobs way back in 1997 envisioned that the personal computers would not have any hard disks. Though the personal computing space is long to reach up to that, but the enterprise IT architecture space has already reached that. How it has reached that, enterprise IT architecture is now able to leverage the economies of scale. Since it has grown so much, so onboarding one new client onto the system is not that cost inclusive as it is. But all the entire thing comes at a price where capabilities now have to be built in-house within the industry or within the enterprises. And these capability building is where business education comes in. This business education is helping us to transition from building the IT to managing the IT. Earlier, the focus was on how this IT infrastructure would get built and get pitched onto the enterprises. Now, since, as I mentioned some time back regarding the plug and play environment, which cloud and Omni cloud specifically is bringing in, the manageability of the IT infrastructure is becoming a core where it has moved into the value chain and have creeped its way into boardroom discussions, where it has gained serious traction as how once investment is made onto a cloud infrastructure, that investment would be leveraged into a revenue and would be seen to be their long term or to be their short term. Business education is helping us to take these decisions wisely, both for the enterprise and for the benefit of the industry.
Abhishek, I want to ask you one question.
Sure.
Think through this. You said you brought in business education here. Lovely, right? But a lot of transformation that you've had is before you entered a business education. You've learnt it on the go. And now this is an interesting point that you say it's the business education which is coming in and teaching people how to manage, right? What do you mean by that?
So, what happened that earlier there was a scope where the mistakes were not that cost inclusive, and when we were learning on Go, since as I mentioned that now cloud has able to reach economies of scale, earlier it was not.
Okay.
Earlier, since cloud adoption was not at the scale as it is, as it has accelerated over the last 2 years. So, the cloud service providers like Amazon, Microsoft and Google had given a leeway to the IT service providers so that they can learn with mistakes. But now as enterprises, as we all have seen how the world economy is evolving, how the budgets are getting tightened. So now there are checks in place where people are demanding educated, trained professionals to come in, step in and deliver without errors. So this delivery without errors, how it was important into IT service delivery, say 5 years back, has now come into cloud IT service delivery and is very much in demand.
I see. So the whole thing is about errorless.
Errorless delivery.
That's really possible?
That is something which we are all aiming to. We are, I won't say that we are at a nascent stage, we are at a building stage, but yes, there are a long way to go in this space, and hope that whatever we are learning here would help us to go in that space.
Abhishek, any lasting opinion on your entire transformative journey and going forward?
Going forward, I would say that learning, unlearning and relearning would be the mantra to go ahead. Every day something new is coming up and we have to be agile to take it within ourselves and go ahead with it.
So, agility is the word, and hopefully there will be more transformations in your life and all positive ones, and looking forward to an errorless future with Omni clouds. Thank you.